All right, that was a bit of a quick intro. How you doing? Welcome. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? I just didn't want to start too late today. But we got a lot of people in the chats already. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. Rockfin people, how you doing? I see y'all on Rockfin. William, Victory, Osama, Urban Hermit, some other people there. Colin, we're live on Colin. I don't know. I'm waiting for some people to get into Colin. Maybe people are protesting me on Colin because I'm a conspiracy theorist. You gotta say it like that. When you say the word conspiracy theorist, make your face look like this. Okay. Anyways. I don't see that they destroyed the planet for profit. I mean, some people would call that a conspiracy. Or is it just stupidity? I don't know. Anyways, good to see y'all. Welcome. But I'm sure calling people will show up eventually. They usually do. I actually had a good. I thought the conversation with Lance was good the other day. You know, I know you may not agree with Lance, and a lot of people did not agree with Lance, and that's okay. But I think the conversation is important because I don't think it helps to just ostracize people that don't think like you or believe what you do. I don't know if that's helpful. There may be a point at which explaining doesn't really help you anymore, right? Like I agree with that take. Whereas, you know, don't waste your time. You know, maybe don't waste too much time trying to explain something that somebody doesn't want to understand. But Lance was, I think, you know, I felt like there was a bit of openness there to understanding what was going on, and sometimes it just takes more conversations. But certainly ostracizing people and certainly telling people, or, you know, kicking people off the internet or telling people they're crazy, those are not really ways to deal with differences of opinion. And I have engaged in all of those practices in the past, so you know, I'm guilty of doing that. Anyways, this is pretty funny. From Richard Medhurst. And we're in a time when things are going to be things are getting weirder and weirder. There's a lot more confusion, and I think I don't know. We're all prone to be confused about something on any given day. Now, this is funny. When the meme comes alive from Richard Medhurst, weapons contractor Lockheed Martin took part in this year's DC Pride Parade. I mean, I have no problem with, you know, pride parades and people having fun. I don't care. Looked like everybody was having a good time. I saw quite a few people out at the pride parades this weekend, and on Saturday it was a big deal, and that's cool. People are having a good time. Ain't no problem with that. But it's funny because Lockheed Martin. It is funny because Lockheed Martin sponsored or was part of the pride parade, and definitely looking like the meme, right? we've got our, you know, at least, if anything, at least the military can be LGBTQ friendly, right? Is that, did I say that right? We have those equitable bombs, right? We have sustainable bombs. we have fair and equitable, and everybody's welcome in the military as long as you just want to drop the bombs, okay? That sounds interesting, Bella. I don't even know what is they drew. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Hmm. What does that mean, Bella? What's the upshot of that finding? Um. Okay, let's keep going. But that was very funny from Richard Medhurst. And maybe we should be anti-military. Maybe we should be anti-war, right? That's the thing. That's my issue is that if you're for peace and love and understanding and equity and everybody, and I'm one of those people, inclusiveness and love your neighbor, and right, we're all a big human family and we all want to do the best things on this planet. Like if you're one of those people, you should be anti-war all the way. Lockheed Martin should not even be allowed in the room. Lockheed Martin should be dismantled. Lockheed Martin should be a pariah on this planet. Lockheed Martin should be locked up and in jail, whoever Lockheed Martin is. Right? The people that make these things and authorize these things and produce these things and promote these things and use these things and think these things are okay are lunatics, right? And they should all be jailed. They should all be jailed. And these things should never be, seen on the planet again, right? That just seems like where we should be in my mind. But, Democrats love war now, apparently, Libs love war. War is cool. The massive rainstorm in Vellore of Tamil Nadu. So is censorship is cool too. Tamil Nadu, India. This is crazy, a crazy storm. There's also. Can you see that? Sorry. Yeah. Also, crazy. Was it in France or Italy? I saw some footage of some. Do I have that in my? I think I did not save that. Hold on. Maybe I didn't save it. I don't know. Is there no audio on Colin or yes? No? Good now? Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on. All right, well we'll move to this then. Steve Austin tweeting this. What a colossal waste of emissions to make this thing. This is an electric cruise ship. Got so little left before crossing 1.5C, and this is what we're doing. Exactly. In order to make this ship, it takes a ton. Is there No? Is there hum on the sound? Because I don't hear it. I don't hear any hum over here. Electric cruise ship will use 3 giant retractable solar panels to power it at sea. Awesome. On Wednesday, Norwegian Cruise Line Company Hurtigruten revealed plans for the first of its kind zero-emission ship. The electric-powered cruise ship will feature retractable sails with solar panels to harness energy from the wind and sun while storing it in beautiful batteries. I turned into Trump there. Beautiful batteries. Powerful batteries. Meet the most energy-efficient solar cruise ship. All right. Well, all right. That's beauty. That's a beauty, ain't it? First of all, why do we need cruise ships? I don't know. I just, oh, nice. Tim says retractable so the yacht can slowly give Earth the middle sail. Nicely done, sir. I mean, okay, cool. You can make this technology, but golly gee willikers, we got to have cruise ships so that people can get, hundreds of people can get on a ship, or thousands of people can get on a ship, go somewhere else, and then trample all over wherever it is they go, and then get back on the ship and then come on home and then throw out. Does the electric poweredness of the cruise ship eliminate all the waste that happens on cruise ships? No, it does not. It does not. Right? Yeah. So this is just silliness, absolute insanity. Well, it's electric, but we're still we're gonna dump all the waste from thousands of passengers on this just one cruise. Of the thousands of cruise happening all the time, we're going to dump all the waste out into the ocean. Sorry, whoopsie. Sorry about that. It's just the cost of doing business. It's part of a concept called C0, expected to be the world's most energy efficient cruise ship. Oh boy. Although 0.1% of the Hurtigruten, Norway's ships currently use zero-emission technology, the company is planning a drastic overhaul. Well, awesome. For example, the company plans to include 3 retractable autonomous sails with added solar panels. The wing rigs are designed to enhance aerodynamics, pulling in air currents at up to 50 meters for added propulsion. Ew. Hurtigruten says that during the summer, the ship will be superpowered by northern Norway's midnight sun that shines for 24 hours a day. So what happens when it's dark? Battery. So is it going to run on batteries, or are there going to be backup engines? I'm sure there will be. I'm pretty positive this is going to have some backup motors. I don't know. Well, it sounds really cool and high tech, and everybody will be able to control the boat from their smartphones. To reduce underwater drag, the 2 thrusters at the stern will retract into the hull while cruising. Meanwhile, the company is developing an underwater air lubrication system to allow the electric ship to surf on a carpet of bubbles. Ooh. I mean, neat. C0 is still in its early stages of research and development as the Norwegian Cruise Line gears up for its launch by 2030. 2030. So the ship isn't even functional, and they're going to test and develop the proposed technology as it works towards a final design. What do you got? What's the over-under on this thing actually launching by 2030? Yeah. Anyways. But, technology is so cool. It is pretty cool. On many levels, technology is pretty cool, but there are costs, and we know this, right? The cost to all this coolness is, um, the destruction of the planet for future generations. I don't know. Another more ridiculous. I don't even know how to put this into context charts. I don't even know. This is insane. This looks like a stock market chart, right? You know, these are just stocks going up and down, and this one is just taking off. But the thing is that it's sea surface temperature, which is not supposed to do anything approximating this. This is North Atlantic sea surface temperature anomaly. So this is not global, but nonetheless, it just I don't know, where does it stop? Where does it end? I'm not really sure. I mean, people have ideas about where it ends. Yeah, and yes, and the oceans have not yet burped, right, Tim? Exactly. So when when they truly start to let out the heat that they have been absorbing and gathering for decades, and it looks like that's what's happening now. I don't know. I don't know where that's going to end up, or where we're going to end up. What's the new normal? What's the new level? Where does this? I mean, there are a few people who have argued for the case of exponential. Plenty of people believe in an exponential rise in temperatures, sea surface temperatures, air temperatures. That once we really start getting the thing rolling, right? Right, because the feedback loop is it gets hotter, and because it's getting hotter, it does things. Things happen on the planet which induce it getting hotter still, and hotter faster. So the feedback loop is one of gaining, warmth, gaining momentum. Where are we in that curve of, hockey stick straight up? I don't know. I don't know where we are, but it seems, if the, according to those graphs, it seems like, we certainly have hit some kind of juncture in the rapid rise of temperatures. So I don't know. Whatever that is, and whatever happens, I mean, the direction that it's going is straight up. Is it going to come down ever? Is it going to, or where does it come down? When does it start coming down? Where does that curve, does it come down all the way down to the top of the other yearly temperatures, or does it come down at a certain level and that's it? That's our new level. I don't know. Well, this is speaking of exponential rise. I mean, Fenrir. I show a lot of posts from Fenrir on Twitter. who is a believer in exponential rise. And already covered this article, so I'm not really going to read it. The one about Arctic oceans could be ice free in summer by 2030s. That's what they're saying. But Fenrir is saying, "Oh my God, climate scientists are using observationally constrained results to model Arctic sea ice melt when they know from the paleontological records that climate collapse is exponential. This means that these models are useless." Again. So it goes on to say, what is unfolding now is no less than a military joint operations offensive against all life on Earth. When an army successfully engages in a combined arms offensive, then the result is exponentially more effective than the sum of its individual parts. So, I mean, typically, and I'm not faulting him for it, typically pessimistic take from Fenrir, but in any, there are a number of realities possible in the future, in the near future. Do we end up here? Do we end up here? Do we end up here? What we do know is that we're not going to go. It's not going to suddenly go back to. It doesn't look very probable that it's going to go back to normal. Could it? Sure. That the sudden arc goes all the way back down into the mean, and everything is better now. The probability of that is much, much smaller than the probability of it continuing to rise or to level at a new plateau. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Here's, every time I really want to see this chart and I'm looking for it, I can never find it. But this chart is, kind of everywhere. I know I could probably just save it. I probably have this chart somewhere, something like this chart in some file somewhere, but when I want to quickly access it on the internet, like say when I'm doing a show, then I can't really find it. But these are sea surface temperatures. More on sea surface temperatures from Climate Dad. And he says, maybe aptly pessimistically too, everyone I know is working and saving for a future that science is pretty clearly showing will never exist. Variation from 1982 to 2011 baseline. So this is only, what is this? Oh, this is from the baseline, 1982 to 2011. And this is where we are. Granted, it looks like we've had periods of warmth. Again, going back to 2015, 2016, which is, kind of like the hottest years so far on record, lowest ice extent on record, etc. And then we have this area of what we might call reprieve. But, if you look closely, you can see that we're gradually still getting warmer. This was just an extreme event in the middle of gradually getting warmer. And then we're working back to what looks like to be another extreme event. Let's see. Anybody see this footage from a massive fish kill And yes, Fox Houston called this hundreds of fish, which is ridiculous. Hundreds of fish found dead at Quintana Beach County Park. That's not hundreds. Definitely thousands. Don't know if it's millions. Oh, sorry. Can't see that. Sorry. But yes, Fox News Houston called this hundreds of fish. So, that's weird. And blamed on higher ocean temperatures and lack of oxygen in the water. You know, again, saw some people from the denier camp posting this, and they're saying it's from lack of oxygen in the water. Yeah. How could that be true? What's going on? Are they poisoning the fish? I don't know. Yeah, we're poisoning the fish. We're always poisoning the fish. But, you know, not everything is... Oh, that's weird. Oh, what is going on? Maybe that's just from me. I'm suddenly getting a lot of interference type sounds in my headphones. Hey, cut it out, guys. But it's a kind of a thing that happens, that fish die from all kinds of things, right? Lack of oxygen in the water, runoff of pesticides into the water, creating, you know, algae blooms, and, you know, there's all kinds of reasons. Yes, pollution can kill fish. Warm waters that fish are not used to can kill fish. I mean, that's, I don't know. Sometimes, it's hard for me to not just, you know, conspiracy theorists, I love you, but you gotta, you know, try and use the thinkers when you're doing the conspiracies. You know, don't, you know, try and just understand a little bit of science before you're just like, that looks weird. That must be somebody doing something. Okay. This is so weird. I'm getting these really strange. Are you guys hearing something in the sound? Because I'm getting like really weird interference type sounds in here. Yes, Schulte 100, right. During the first heat bubble in the Northwest the year before last, we lost 1 billion forms of sea life up and down the western coastline. Right, fish live in a very, you know, actually a very small Goldilocks zone of temperature. They don't like it when it gets too hot. They really don't. And it's, you know, whatever. I was randomly a few years ago watching, you know, those shows. What is it? History Channel or some of the channels have these shows, you know, where they follow certain, they follow fishing vessels. I can't speak apparently, but they follow the fishing vessels and they go out and, you know, it's kind of a contest, like who hauls more fish, and they kind of follow these guys around. But it was very interesting. They were in the Northern Pacific, this one show I was watching, and they had to move the area where they were fishing because the waters were too warm. The fish were not where they were usually because the waters were too warm. It's like they would not just make that up. You know, these are fishermen just running into different different parameters of their their work and having to deal with it, having to make adjustments for it. Farmers do this all the time, right? It's too rainy one year, too hot one year, too cold one year, right? You run into these things. The fish don't like it where it's warm, so it's just people. They're saying the fish died because it was too warm and there wasn't enough oxygen. There are dead zones in the ocean where there's very small amounts of oxygen. It wouldn't take very long to just look that up. So just try, it's all fun and games. Conspiracy theories are all fun and games until you just are too stupid to look things up. And then you just kind of look like a dummy. And you give conspiracy theorists a bad name, so don't do that. I'm kidding. I mean, kind of, not really. Yes, Russ Taylor. And also humans exist in a very tight range of temperatures, exactly. But we, with our big brains, have developed heating and air conditioning. And eventually, if you go too far out of the range, the heating and the air conditioning stop working. And then you're like, uh-oh. Right? then you're like, then millions of people all of a sudden are like, oh dang. Oh. And that's when you're, that's when you're wondering about the wonders of technology being so wonderful. Let's see. All right. It's almost the time when I think we're going to we're going to move to Rockfin for the last part of the show, but we're a couple minutes away. Jem Bendell. Just, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk a little more about this. But again, for the everything the liberals say about everything is right. I believe in climate change, and therefore I believe in everything else that everybody else says on the Democratic Party tells me is true and correct, because they love me and they just want the best for humanity, and they're all just trying to tell the truth, and they're all just the truthiest of the truthers. But Jem Bendell, who totally understands the climate situation, actually calls out Greta Thunberg, which is very interesting. And I commended him for this. He says it will damage the environmental movement if its participants stay silent when well-known activists promote false or unproven war propaganda. Say what? Yeah. And that's what she's doing. This ecocide, as a continuation of Russia's unprovoked full-scale invasion of Ukraine, is yet another atrocity which leaves the world lost for words. Yeah. So, not so much, Greta. Not so much. And for all the truthers out there, just because somebody might be in the employ or in league with the elites and trying to give you a message about the climate change does not mean that the climate change is false. That's not what it means. It means that she might be, it sounds certainly, or maybe she's just confused. Maybe she just watches CNN like everyone else. Could be that too. Maybe she's just parroting, I'm being a little bit funny, but maybe she's just parroting things that other people say, right? Other people, VIPs out there are saying about what's going on. But, Jem Bendell understands, you don't have to conflate, and this is a problem on both sides. I'll just say it real quickly again. You don't conflate all issues together, right? Like all the left, all believe the same narrative about every single subject, right? And they just without thinking, repeat these things as if they're true because their side would never lie and they all tell the truth and we're all, we believe in science and all that kind of good stuff. And we do. Conversely, on the right or on the truth side or on the whatever side you're on, truth is not right or left. You can't just, without thinking, without considering, without skepticism, just repeat the same things that everybody, that your camp believes in, because that's not actually intelligence. That's not scientific, and that's not the truth. So good job, Jem Bendell. Jem Bendell, right? Obviously, most of his followers are probably in one camp, right? Which camp is that? The climate change camp. Who mostly resides on the climate change camp? Good old lefties, right? Good liberals. And they tend to not really question the narrative about other things, right? Because they just, whatever. So you have to kind of pick apart. If you're a thinking person, if you're a thinking human being, you have to pick apart all the subjects. You have to take them one at a time, right? You have to go like, what's really happening in Ukraine? What's really happening with COVID? What's really happening with climate change? You can't just like lump them all together and go like, that's what it is. That's not thinking. And Jem Bendell is a thinking person. And I just played something from Nate Hoggins, last week. Again, kind of questioning the thing, saying, hey, I don't know. I don't know if this is going down this road is what we should be doing. I don't know if this is right for the planet Earth or people or anything. I don't know if we're, we should really like lockstep, whole heart, all of us join hands and all support this idea. No, maybe not. And Jem Bendell's in there too. And I appreciate that. I appreciate people who can separate subjects and look at them individually and go, what are the merits of what people are saying about this subject? Where does the science and the evidence and the data lie? Which side does it come down on? Take each subject and go, which side does the data and the evidence come down on? Not just like, well, the people all the people I know think this about this subject, so it must be the thing to think. No. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that. You got to grow up. You can't do that anymore in this world. You cannot do that. And it's important to know what's really going on in all of these subjects because, you might not think it affects you, but it does. Too many people believing a lie. I can honestly tell you that too many people invested in a lie is probably not good for humanity. All right. Anyways, that's all. And I probably said way too much there, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But he's right in saying that. He's right in saying that because she's, when somebody of that kind of influence says the things, that people tend to listen to them and take it as the truth, right? Oh, well, they said that. It must be true. George Monbiot, right? Saying the same stuff. Oh, well, I like George Monbiot. I like what he has to say about climate change. Well, whatever he says must be true. No. Anyways, let's keep going. I am just truly anti-war. And what is it? Old Schmelly Butler said that war is a racket. And if you look you can just go back to World War II, the good war, where we were the good guys, and we lots of our corporations funded the Nazis. Lots of our corporations were business partners. Yeah, sure, it was a good war. We were on the right side. Okay. The war where we smuggled after the war smuggled all the Nazis into the U.S. to work in our intelligence agencies and our so we were totally it wasn't like a business proposition, this war. It wasn't like no, it was for freedom and democracy. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. You know that Trump got indicted. Everybody knows that Trump got indicted. Maybe he's guilty. Maybe he's not. Who knows? But also at the same time, Joe and Hunter Biden were found to have received $5 million each to end corruption investigations. And where? What's the country? What country were we talking about again? Oh, yeah, that one. And if you remember, look, I'm not saying this is like, well, Trump is fine. No, I mean, if Trump broke the law, and Trump has broken plenty of laws, and I'm not really, Trump did a lot of dumb things. But let's look at this. Trump was actually impeached for doing the very thing that Biden is bragging about here. Bragging.
Hold on. Remember going over convincing our team or others to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
Someone who was solid. Yeah. I played that before. Someone who was, solid. You're probably right. Andre, I guarantee Trump will become president before he gets convicted, but you're probably right. I'm just saying, it's not, it's cool. If you think that Trump pressured, maybe held some arms deals or arms sales over, Ukraine's head in order to, get information or whatever it was he was doing. So, Biden is literally bragging about doing the same thing, pressuring a country to do something for a promise of money. So I think, I don't know, but I think that is illegal, right? He just on stage boasted about something that is illegal. And I don't know. So if anybody is not clear that there's no difference. Anyways, let's keep, okay, I'm going to jump off. It's already late. I'm going to jump off and go to Rockfin because I want to cover the story about the Wuhan lab, which is very, very interesting. I want to see how much we can talk about it there, but I want to get off of YouTube. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today on the YouTube. So we're going to keep going on Call-In and on Rockfin. So see you tomorrow at the regular time, YouTubers. Peace out.